Hello, welcome to Capricorn season. Well, as I'm filming this, it's still the 20th, so Capricorn season starts tomorrow, but you guys exist in the future, so I need you all to let me know how you handled experienced this Sag new moon that came through yesterday. What's new? What perspectives are we trying out? What are we looking forward to shifting as far as beliefs that we're releasing, and new goals and experiences that we want to step into? Drop your comments below. Drop all that in the comments. And Tyler, welcome back to Ruckus Van and Tarot, I suppose. I don't ever do that, but that randomly wanted to come out. Anyways, we're here to do the the reading for the first half of Capricorn season. And y'all, lately I've been taking notes for the content that I do. Yesterday I did a live on Instagram and I had all my notes for the Sag new moon. I think that I had a lot of really good information. It was a pretty long live, but I did also recommend some music for people to listen to for this lunation period and the energy, because I know for a fact that music will resonate with you and what you may be experiencing at this time. I literally looked into the astrology of it and everything was connecting. Anyways, if you're interested in that, that's on Instagram. But we are going to look at the energy of the first 2 weeks of Capricorn season and see what we are moving through. And I think I'm calling this one laying the roots for new abundance. I think there's a lot of potential for us while we are planting this new seed, but it does require presence, and accountability. So we're gonna get into it. We're gonna start off with the main energy that we're kind of stepping into at the beginning of Capricorn season. And the first card that came up was the Wheel of Fortune in the reverse. And so the Wheel of Fortune is always, to me, about timing, and kind of the natural ebbs and flows of life, When it's in the reverse, we're kind of feeling a little bit more strained, a little bit less like we have control of what's going on, and that's exactly the point. You're not supposed to be heavy-handed with the outcomes that you're trying to achieve. Sometimes, there's a limit to the effort that you can put in before you have to take your hand off the wheel and let the universe cook, right? I say that all the time with this card. But the first thing that was coming to my mind when I saw this was downtime. And I know right now a lot of things feel really liminal. I mean, we had the new moon yesterday, so we are just beginning this new lunar phase from the dark moon. And there's not a lot of external outward movement, and that is the point right now. I feel like a lot of people are really trying to push through the uncertainty, and the uncertainty is just asking you to be present, asking you to look within and check on some of these emotions, emotional baggage, emotional weight that we still have that's ready to be let go, right? And I say that because I also pulled the Eight of Cups with this, and also the Star card, right? So I always connect numbers, and the Star, it's number 17, and that reduces to an 8, right? So the Eight of Cups, like I said, it's that energy of emotional resentments, emotional baggage that we're still holding on to, that's ready to be shed and let go. And with the combination with the Star, it could be about the healing of that, the healing process of shedding some old pain, some old disappointment, and kind of just refreshing those waters, or allowing yourself to clear that space for new fulfillment, Let me see the notes that I took here. Yeah, with this energy in general, with the Wheel of Fortune in the reverse, I really feel like there's a perceived stagnancy, or a lot of people are kind of seeing this liminal time as bad or misfortunate, But it's actually here for us to um, plant the new seed, right? And kind of figure out how we want to approach nurturing that lovingly and authentically, you know? So the Eight of Cups and the Star, it said downtime is here to complete an emotional release and healing. Time to release baggage or resentment in order to clear space for new fulfillment, right? And new dreams. Old stories released from within allows the external to manifest in a new way, right? So that's kind of like this energy of the star, where it always reminds me of the reflection, the song Reflection from Mulan. When my reflection show who I am inside. I don't think a lot of people realize that when you are experiencing like this pushback or challenge or discomfort with your external circumstances, that is reflecting like a part of you that is mirroring this, you know? Like you kind of create the external circumstances by ignoring like a particular need that you have that's not being met, right? You're not engaging with it authentically, and so the external can't engage with it either, and those needs can't be met in your external like reality. So yeah, that's the biggest like energy that we're stepping into as soon as we're coming into Capricorn season, right? It's a slower period, and it's a intentional time to pause and reflect and let go of some old pain. So moving into the healing energy, this is how we're actively using our energy at this time. It's starting off with an Eight of Swords. And so, like I said, I connect the like numbers. The Eight of Cups. The Star, number 17, which reduces to an 8. The Eight of Swords here as well is directly connected to these eights in the main energy, right? Where the Eight of Swords is kind of like when you are creating your own mental prison. It's like all those doubts, like self-doubt that freezes you, you know? So when we're getting to this Eight of Swords in the healing position, this is about addressing those mental blocks and the self-defeating thoughts. And that's attached to these stagnant feelings from the Eight of Cups. That's attached to these old wounds, this old pain, this old trauma that weighs on you emotionally and that you're experiencing from your reality, you know? But we're going to get to this. There could be this kind of projecting energy that is going on with a lot of people right now, where you're feeling like you're feeling disappointed because you feel like the external reality is oppressing you, rather than, you know, you're not actually engaging with what you want and what you desire yourself to make those external shifts, right? To make the outside shift into what you want it to be. Okay, so back to this Eight of Swords. This is the moment now where we are making the awareness of the connections between these beliefs, right? These limiting beliefs and those prior stories, those prior disappointments. So yeah, at this moment, like flushing that old emotional baggage and resentment can clear up some space. So adding on to this Eight of Swords, we're becoming aware of your mental blocks. You also have the, hold on, sorry, where'd it go? Yes, the Knight of Swords in the reverse, and then the Magician in the reverse as well. So this type of story that's going on here, as we're coming into Capricorn season, we're really trying to heal the kind of uncertainty and the fear of putting ourselves out there, expressing our wisdom, expressing our desire to like manifest a particular goal or a particular reality. Let me see. What do I have? Yes, doubting your ability to manifest. This is the fear of like getting it wrong. There is a certain level of criticism and I don't know, just like impatience that we put on ourselves, right? It's like you fear that somebody's going to check you for speaking your truth or putting out your wisdom in regards to like whatever you're trying to kind of grow, you know, your goal that you're working hard to move towards. The mental block is that fear that someone's going to check you or you're going to say the wrong thing, or nobody's going to see it or nobody's going to like you. You know, there is a sensitivity to that type of perception that is going on here that we're becoming aware of, and aware where that type of sensitivity blocks us from just doing it, you know, blocks us from just showing up. Because I do feel like the circumstances are a little bit different, right? And that's kind of what happens with like trauma or like past pain. You hold on to that, or you create this like armor or this identity that protects you from that. And then you kind of meet these circumstances again. You know what I mean? You replay these same stories, but a lot of times you don't realize that it's you who is repeating this loop, repeating this pattern, because you're projecting like the loss or the disappointment or, you know, whatever cognitive dissonance that you have with the experience, and you're saying that it's the world doing this to me or this person's doing it to me. You know, these people don't think that I'm good enough because years ago at school you were bullied and people made fun of the way that you taught, you know, and you're taking that old story and you're putting it onto your current reality, or you're fearing that in your current reality, and that's blocking you from just taking a chance, you know, just saying what you want to say, doing what you want to do, feeling like you can be seen just genuinely, right? You're afraid of this like kind of pushback mentally. Let's see. Yeah, afraid of having your knowledge or communication criticized, having your perspective challenged or dismissed, holding your tongue to avoid pushback, right? Yeah. The kind of liminality of this time while we are trying to move forward with this new perspective, with this new goal, I feel like that empty space, that waiting space, really causes you to doubt like your ability, like doubt your knowledge, doubt your fluency, you know? But it's not that. It's just that this is the natural like back step that's required before the next two like forward steps come up. Holy cow. Okay, so we're gonna move forward and let's drop these other cards. We're going to go into the sunlight position. So this is the possible achievements, successes, and highlights we can look forward to as we are going through these first 2 weeks of Capricorn season. And the first card that's coming up is the Six of Pentacles. And so the Six of Pentacles is always like the effort versus the reward, right? It's like that card or energy that asks is if the juice is worth the squeeze. So this, I love this coming through because I feel like this is this moment where we realize that we get an equitable reward for whatever efforts that we are willing to put in right now in regards to our goals and the belief shifts that we are trying to stabilize, you know? So there is this, I was thinking about this metaphor earlier, and this always comes up when you have Pentacles energy. It's the idea of like planting a seed and having to like nurture that seed till it grows into, you know, whatever plant it's supposed to be, and like flowers or fruits and whatever. and you have to be consistent in how you like show up for that and care for that. So the thing is, when you are growing something, the initial growth takes place underground, right? You can't see it externally, and that doesn't mean that it's not growing. That doesn't mean that progress isn't happening or taking place. It's just not external quite yet. And that is where a lot of us trip up, because we want to see results. We want to see it to believe it. And that's just not how it works. There is a certain level of consistency that is required first. The care has to be there, the consistency, the attention, the devotion has to be there to receive what you want out of this, right? So having this for the sunlight, those of us who are actually like putting in the effort, putting in the consistent like work to show up for this goal, this perspective shift that we desire to manifest, that we desire to embody, then we're going to start seeing the rewards of that. And so this is also really interesting because of the next two cards that came out, which is the Hierophant in the reverse. Excuse me. So we have the Hierophant in the reverse, and then we have the Six of Wands in the reverse. So once again, connecting like numbers, the Six of Pentacles and the Six of Wands is speaking to each other. But I think that first, like going into this Hierophant in the reverse energy, this is where there is a certain like outline or framework of how we can move forward with this new goal that is available, right? And I think that one of the things that could make us hesitant about, I guess, using information like that or committing to a path like that is that sometimes it feels like it takes us away from our autonomy. You know what I mean? Like, especially if you're someone like me who kind of feels a little bit I don't want to feel like I'm having to like prove myself for like attention or like validation or anything like that, And that's also what this like Six of Wands energy comes into. Because the Six of Wands, this is that like victory, success, kind of having eyes on you. When I see this, I always think of the word congratulations, but then also having like people like cheering you on. And, when it comes through in the reverse, like we have it now, it feels like a little bit like stage fright. Or, what was the other thing? It feels like stage fright, or, yeah, there's just a sensitivity to being perceived, like I said before. So, with this Hierophant in the reverse, there is some type of framework, like I said, some type of outline that we can utilize at this moment to get some growth or return on the effort that we're putting in. And it doesn't have to take us out of ourselves, right? We can still have our own like autonomy or like unique way of expressing or putting forward this creative energy. And still get the same like reward from that. It's almost like there's a certain mindset that we have to do it this specific way, and then you're just like, well, if I have to do it that way, it feels like I am pandering, or it feels like I am working to prove myself, working to get that validation externally. So there has to be a way to like flip this idea on its head where you're still utilizing these tools or these spaces that have resources to be gained, and just show up in those spaces in your way. Do what was I gonna say? There has to be a way that you have to like make it you. So say you were trying to learn how to, oh gosh, this is so bad. I'm so bad with this. Okay, so I'm gonna bring up Drag Race because this is something that happens on RuPaul's Drag Race, where they have the challenge, right? The maxi challenge that all the queens have to, do the snatch game or design a dress or whatever. And each queen has to approach it with their own uniqueness, right? Their own way or their own style of doing this. And sometimes it's like, say, they had a girl group challenge, but they have to do like country music. And the queen is just like, oh man, I hate country music. I can't do country music. And so they're so stuck in this idea that they have to be this specific thing to get the reception that they desire. But there is a way that they can approach this country music and still make it them. You know what I mean? Like subvert it in whatever ways that you need to so that you can still be yourself and still have fun and enjoyment in this. And you will get that reward. And it's going to be more like aligned. You know what I mean? Like you're not going to get the validation or the affirmation from everybody. But like it's the girls that get it. You know what I mean? It's like IYK, YK. So I think that is such a cool thing to kind of like look forward to if you are actually putting the effort in on these changes that you're trying to make and, make a habit and make a routine. Because you do find that you get some type of feedback. And you don't have to completely like abandon your values and your morals or your sense of self. So let's go ahead and move forward to the grounding position. So the grounding position, how we can stay grounded these first 2 weeks of Cap season, is starting off with this Ace of Pentacles. So this is what we're focused on, right? This is that seed that we've just planted, that we are saying, hey, I want to show up for this. I want to grow this. I want to build in this path. First and foremost, I like the Ace of Pentacles a lot because whenever we have this opportunity that's ahead of us, first of all, with all aces, they are opportunities. They are moments that are being handed to us, and it's our choice to grab that or not, I like Pentacles because they're not fleeting. You know what I mean? They're much more tangible. They're much more material and solid, and you can pick this up at any moment. You know what I mean? And if you don't grab it right away, it's not going to disappear. You know what I mean? It's not going to just vanish. And if you drop this, you know what I mean? You can literally pick it back up. You can pick it back up. And I feel like that is such an important message considering the next two cards that come through, because you have the Five of Swords and the Three of Pentacles. So the Five of Swords, I often see that kind of like projection type energy with the Five of Swords where, you've had your past experience where somebody said that you were wrong or criticized the way that you sound when you talk or, just challenged your expression or perspective or your truth, and you're still replaying that in all your like external like disputes or conflicts, and this is even bigger than just like these mundane experiences like having an argument with like someone at work. This is also like your kind of inner voice, how you speak to yourself as a whole. Because even in your head, like you're criticizing yourself so hard and you're already telling yourself that the worst is going to happen, or these people feel this way, or, these people are talking about behind my back, or just having such a difficulty just doing it, and not caring what other people think. You know what I mean? You're so caught on what other people think. A lot of us are so caught on what the external perception is going to be that you're cutting yourself in the process and sabotaging yourself before you even have a chance to see if it can be something, if it can grow, you know? Just because you don't get the immediate gratification or the immediate item, like immediate manifestation, doesn't mean that things aren't moving in the background, doesn't mean that things aren't growing and progressing. The roots have to grow first and take and create the foundation for these benefits, you know? So don't shoot yourself in the foot, especially with this Three of Pentacles energy here, because this is about planning. This is about efficiency and consistency and moving forward one step at a time. A lot of times with the Three of Pentacles, there are other people that you can collaborate with, like other people who are adding in their skills to collectively work towards this goal. And that could be available for a lot of people right now. I like to do tarot math, and I see this Ace of Pentacles and this Three of Pentacles, and it's giving me the Four of Pentacles vibe, where that's that foundation, you know, that's that solid solid ground to stand on that will be there no matter what, right? Because when you're building from the Four, you have to go to the Five, where you're kind of risking a little bit of instability, but no matter what, you still have this foundation to come back to if you like strike out or drop the ball. You know what I'm saying? So that's the other like message that's coming through here. So if this Three of Pentacles is not about actually like collaborating with other people and having other people around that helps you kind of maintain accountability with your commitments, then this is about like making plans for yourself no matter how like the external circumstances can shift. Because I feel like with this Ace of Pentacles here, a lot of us once again have a mindset that you're kind of getting pushed around by the universe and your external circumstances, and this Ace of Pentacles is really showing us or wants us to develop the awareness that we are in control of the like mundane realities, the choices that we make every day, the people and the places that we commit our time and our effort and our energy to, right? There's more cards here coming later that kind of reflect this energy of feeling like stuck or trapped, or that you have this responsibility or this obligation, you know, and that you have no control. Once again, you have no where to go, but this is all about just your physical effort, your choice, your commitment to a new path, a new direction, even if you drop the ball. So say that you were doing a habit every single day and then you miss a day, and then you're just like, oh well, since I missed a day, like I can't do it anymore. You know what I mean? Or there's just a way that you need to kind of have grace, one, and have accountability, two, for yourself while you are on this path. You know, you have to keep going, keep taking those steps forward until you get to this destination. You can't just jump off or fall off and say that you can't make it anymore. I just got this image of like, say you're at a train station, right? You're riding the train and you're starting at point A and you're trying to get to point Z, right? So if you were on a train, right, and you're starting at point A and you go a few stops, say you weren't like fully paying attention and you get off on the wrong stop and you get off early, you're not going to be like, well, I can't make it home anymore. You know, you're going to get back on the train and go the rest of the stops. Like, that's what this is about. And I love this Ace of Pentacles because it's that message that like, hey, this is still here. Like, you can drop this and pick it back up. You know, it's not just going to disappear. It's not just going to fly away. You're not going to run out of time. And especially right now where like the external circumstances are kind of like slowing down, This is really that moment to like be able to let go of all of these old stories so that you can just do what you need to do and build this foundation. Once again, you know, this Ace of Pentacles and the Three of Pentacles, build this foundation for the abundance that's coming later. You know, the abundance and the potential of this new path, of this new goal, this new opportunity that you're trying to build, that you're trying to like align yourself with, because you know it's inside of you, but you have not been making the decisions and creating the relationships that are in alignment with your authentic values, you know? So, that's the grounding energy. It's really about just like being accountable and knowing that this path that you're on, like, you just have to be consistent. It's about the long game. It's about showing up day by day. You might have people that can help you stay accountable who are trying to do the same thing. But also you just have to make a plan for yourself, even if you like fall off the wagon. You know what I'm saying? Like, say you were going for however many like repetitions and you built up a streak, and then you missed a day, or you know, some type of external thing comes up unexpectedly. What is the like plan B? You know what I mean? What's the fallback plan that still keeps you a little bit more true to this new value system, this new moral system that we're developing? Okay, so then moving forward, we're going to go to the Serenity position, which is how we can cultivate more peace. It's starting off with the Ten of Pentacles. Okay, so I think in order to keep ourselves, you know, more grounded, how to cultivate more peace within ourselves, is that we always have to have this end goal on our mind, right? Everything that we're doing right now is in service of this manifestation that is going to provide like resource and stability and safety and the ability to grow more later. You know, it's going to provide for yourself and also benefit others, and also has the potential to fruit more. This is whatever that end goal that we are trying to reach with this new path. Keep that at the forefront of your mind, because that can help you just develop more like fortitude, you know? What did I say? Yes, developing and galvanizing personal fortitude. Oh yes, so there's also a message here that I see. It's like you already have like a decent foundation, or you have the stability currently, that gives you the opportunity to plant this new seed. You know what I'm saying? Like, you have something that is providing for you consistently at this moment, where this like slower period is giving you some time to dip your toe in this new direction. So the other two cards that came up with this was the Seven of Cups and the Justice card in the reverse. And so once again, this is really about that liminality, right? Because when the Seven of Cups comes through, this is like a seeking type of energy. Hello, Robin Rakin. Thanks for joining the reading. So when the Seven of Cups comes up, this is like that seeking type of energy. A lot of times it's like disillusionment, kind of dissociating and distracting yourself. And this comes up a lot when things are moving slow, right? So I feel like this type of energy, especially at the very beginning, before we kind of build up momentum and kind of get some inertia behind this energy, when the roots are still trying to expand and take place, and we don't have that external validation yet, there could be this desire to have something to fill that space temporarily, or to distract us from, you know, this feeling of not having enough, or not moving forward and making progress, or, you know, kind of putting us in those old thought patterns based off of these past experiences that we're needing to let go of right now, so that we can really plant this new seed in the most intentional way and build something sustainable and valuable and meaningful for us. That also supports our authentic needs. So when we have this like liminal energy, we're trying something new, we're not quite seeing results yet. We're just like, what do I want to fill this space with? What can hold me over for now while I'm waiting for this new thing. But I feel like at the same time, like, you have to, with this Justice card in the reverse, you have to make sure that you are consistently showing up in alignment with this new value system, this new belief system. When you are kind of in this space of like seeking, that's immediately showing you where there is kind of an imbalance with your relationship to this type of tangible, like physical reward system. There is some way that you are needing that external validation. So when you're in this seeking energy, keep yourself aligned mentally with your long-term goal, your manifestation that you're trying to solidify. And then from there, I feel like you can be a little bit more clear on what you don't need to engage with anymore. You know what I mean? Because especially because with the Seven of Cups, these things are not sustainable. Like they fade out really fast, and then you have to like keep getting your fix and keep disillusioning yourself and keep distracting yourself, and then before you know it, like, you've fallen off of your path and you just won't pick the ball back up. So yeah, when you're in that seeking energy, like, keep your long-term goal in mind and make the decisions that are in alignment with the new you, this goal that you want to work so hard for. Okay, so the final message is the message from Spirit. So this is anything Spirit wants us to know or be aware of, or how we can continue to align our energy with our highest good. And the first two cards that came out were the Ten of Swords and the Devil card. So first of all, this is the warning. This is the awareness that Spirit's bringing forward to us, saying that this moment, this liminal space, this time period right now, the first 2 weeks of Capricorn season, is for us to finally let go of those dead mindsets, those dead belief systems, this old way of creating meaning out of our experience. I always see the Ten of Swords as being like that down and out, like hitting rock bottom moments. And of course, swords is your thoughts, perception, like information and communication. Like, this old way of seeing things, this old truth or logic system is ready to die, so that something new can come through, a new perspective can come through, a new truth can come through. And this is directly connected with this Devil card, which once again is that energy that kind of feels like, oh, I have no choice, I have no control, I am stuck with this, I am obligated to be here, but it's really your decision to be in this thing because it's a comfort zone. It's because you know what you're getting out of that, and it allows you to continue to be like this Ten of Swords, woe is me type of person, this Five of Swords, always projecting onto your external experience, saying that you can't do this because it controls you or owns you in some way, and it doesn't, So those were the first two cards that came out. Like, there is a old perspective dying, saying that you don't have a choice, you don't have a decision to make here. And then the other two cards that came out are the Three of Wands and the Five of Wands. So this is about the potential that we see ahead of us as we are committing to this new path, this new direction, right? The Three of Wands is that optimistic card where you're looking out at the future, but it feels like it's at a distance, right? The thing with the Three of Wands, even though it is a generally like uplifting card, is that this type of like vision and potential that you see ahead of you can easily turn into a daydream, right? If you're not taking any action, if you're not putting in any effort to get closer to this, right? So I think the interesting thing with this particular deck, I look at these three crows at the top of this Three of Wands, and I'm looking at the three crows at the top of this Ten of Swords, you know, and this one came out right above this one, and it's like this could be a daydream, you know, and if you hold on to this old mindset, you're kind of in this space where you daydream about something better, something more aligned, something more passionate and joyful, but you keep yourself in your comfort zone because you know you're afraid of the liminality. You know what I mean? You're afraid of the in-between space. You're afraid of not having that external validation that tells you that you're doing something right or you're on the right path. And that's just not how it works, and you're needing to let go of that mindset. So, Three of Wands with the Five of Wands. The Five of Wands, I always see this as advocating for your need, advocating for your desire, playing the game. Like, it reminds me of a sports team, and everyone's trying to win. So if you have this vision and this dream ahead of you, and you can see this potential in front of you, are you gonna fight for it? Are you gonna show up for it? You know what I mean? Are you going to put yourself in the spaces that light you up and feel like this? The Five of Wands and the Three of Wands is the Eight of Wands. That's flow state. That's not doubting yourself. That's being so aligned with the energy that you're just going, you're just moving. The other thing with the Five of Wands, I'm connecting this with the Five of Swords that was in the grounding energy, which is that projecting energy. There can often be an energy of like comparing yourself to other people here, where like, oh, you feel like you're not as good, you're not as talented, you're not as charismatic. Once again, like doubting yourself and kind of projecting this energy of people maybe like thinking that you're not as good, you know, or people thinking that you're not as talented, not as creative, you know, and that might not be happening at all. It could be happening in your head, but that might not be reality at all, you know. And so that is the tarot message for the first 2 weeks of Capricorn season. So just to recap it really fast, you know, we're coming in first with the Wheel of Fortune in the reverse, where the external circumstances are liminal. Things are shifting in the background, and progress could be happening in the background, but we're so uncertain because it's not externalized yet that these old stories, these old emotions are still taking hold of us, you know? So we need to address kind of the fear that is being mirrored back to us while we're in this liminal space, right? And we do that as we're moving through the healing energy with the Eight of Swords. We're becoming aware of all these mental blocks that we put in front of ourselves that make us doubt our ability to manifest, right? With the Magician in the reverse. The Knight of Swords in the reverse is kind of like fearing that pushback, fearing that criticism, fearing that external like person who is trying to like cut you down or whatever. There's a lot to this awareness that needs to come through because it's showing us what we're trying to release emotionally, right? Showing us what emotional fears or emotional stories that are ready to be let go. So the Sunlight, the Six of Pentacles, you know, there is reward for what effort that we put in. If you are putting in the effort, you will start to see that. And there is framework, there is outline, there are ways of doing this or approaching this that you can utilize and just make it your own, you know, and be happy with the way that you do it because you know it's your unique approach, your unique expression, and know that the people who are in alignment with you, the people who also are a part of your tribe, will be there to support you and will give you that feedback that you've been looking for with this new like building on this new direction. The grounding energy, the Ace of Pentacles, Five of Swords, and the Three of Pentacles. This path is all about commitment. It's all about showing up consistently, right? And it's tangible, it's material, it's not going to disappear. You can drop the ball and you can pick it back up and keep going and keep, moving forward. Don't project conflict or challenge or difficult circumstance as like the world like working against you. You know what I mean? There's always something that's within your control that you can be tending to and aware of, whether that's the decisions that you're making, and if they are in alignment with this new value system, this new belief system. It's kind of about those daily choices. Are you planning? Are you preparing yourself beforehand? Do you have other people who are also doing this that can help you remain accountable to yourself? You can utilize all those things. If you drop the ball, you can pick it back up. The Serenity, how you can cultivate more peace. Ten of Pentacles, Seven of Cups, and the Justice card in the reverse. Keep your vision in mind. Keep your end goal in mind. Keep your potential in mind. Especially in the liminal moments where there's not a lot of external validation, because that doesn't mean that something's not happening. And if you are constantly distracting yourself, Seven of Cups, Justice card in the reverse, with temporary things to fill a void, you are going to get so distracted that you're going to fall off the wagon. You're going to drop the ball. You're not going to pick it back up because you're so you're going to end up feeling like you were connected, or once again, just projecting a victim mentality, saying that you don't have any choice. And then the message from Spirit, Ten of Swords and the Devil. Let this old perspective die, this old mindset die, this old comfort zone die. And if you have a dream, fight for it. This is the fuck around and find out, which is that Sagittarius energy, which is the Saturn moon that we just came through from yesterday. Okay. So last and not least, we are going to wrap it up with the animal spirits. And I'm just going to pull one this time. I usually pull two, but I'm going to pull one because I actually have things that I have to do tonight, and I got to get out of here. All right. So from the animal spirit, what do we need to know, be aware of, or possibly embody through the first half of Capricorn season? Please and thank you. The Vulture. And listen, this is already exactly spot on for what this is about. This is about that clearing out energy. Okay, the Vulture. Let's see what it says. Vulture. Guardian and purifier. Essential for rebalance. The vulture is perhaps the most misunderstood creature of all. This intriguing bird balances our ecosystem and prevents the spread of disease. It does the dirty work that no one else wants to do and cleans up our messes. The vulture appears when there's a situation that needs to be purified or brought back into balance. Remember, the vulture is greatly undervalued. What you thought was a mistake or tragedy is a blessing in disguise. When in balance, it clarifies and reveals wisdom. When out of balance, it's dramatic and aggressive. To bring it to balance, clean your space, sage. Okay, so this is so funny because that's exactly what I was saying at the beginning with this Wheel of Fortune in the reverse. Like, it felt like this energy of like perceiving something as a failure or like a setback, or what does it say, a tragedy, you know what I mean? But it's actually a great moment right now to clear out this old shit. This is a clarifying moment. When out of balance, it's dramatic and aggressive. That's that victim mentality. That's that projection type of energy, right? So that is what we're avoiding with the first half of Capricorn season. We're really being asked to use this time to clear out the old narrative, clear out the old hurt. it's not serving you anymore, and it's going to block you from being able to really root into this new abundance that you're ready to manifest. So, once again, let me know how this is affecting you. Comment down below. Like this if you liked it. This one is longer, even though I wanted it to be shorter, but that's just how life rolls. Share this, subscribe if you want to follow for more. Check out my website, Reckless Abandon Tarot. Wait, it's ko-fi.com / or / one of the slashes, Reckless Abandon Tarot. Yeah, and I will see you during the second half of Cap season. Bye.